Hello and welcome to the video. My name is Wade Smith, and this video is entitled An Open Rebuke of Donnie Swaggart and the Swaggart Family. Why? Well, don't they oppose the other false prophets? Yes, but they're false prophets their own selves. Just because two false prophets oppose one another doesn't make one of them true. Understand? They're just teaching a different falsehood. All right. So, what is this gripe about? Well, 20 years ago, and they're still doing this, by the way, but 20 years ago, at least twice in 2004, I heard Donnie Swaggart say, because I was dumb enough to be a member of their church back then, but I heard Donnie Swaggart say that, quote, the gospel could only go as far as the dollar bill could carry it, end quote, on at least two occasions, verbatim. One of them was during a telethon, because they call it a share-a-thon, but it's a telethon. Call it what it is, Swaggarts. It's a telethon, and you're doing exactly the same thing that all the other fake churches do. Call it a telethon. It's not a share-a-thon, because you're not sharing with me. If I was dumb enough to give you another $500, you're not going to share it with me, are you? You're going to take it from me. So it's not a share-a-thon, it's a take-a-thon. You take and you give nothing back. You can't even perform a miracle until somebody gives you tithe. And you can't even sing until somebody gives you tithe, and you don't even preach to somebody until they pay you tithe. And guess what? I'm not paying anybody tithe ever again until I've known them for at least 10 or 20 years. And I've known you guys for 22 years, and I'm never paying you tithe or offering ever again. All right? So, Donnie Swaggart, if that's what Jesus is to you, that the gospel can only go as far as a dollar bill can carry it, then you have proven something's wrong with Jesus, haven't you? Basically, either something's wrong with you or something's wrong with Jesus, because that's not God. That's not Almighty. That's not Almighty. That's not God. Either something's wrong with you or something's wrong with Jesus, or both, because you are a liar either way. Because God is Almighty and He does not need a dollar bill to teach or preach or perform a miracle for anybody. Not you, not me, not the Pope, not the poorest person or sickest person in the world. He does not need 1 cent to do His work. Johnny Swaggart, the gospel can only go as far as a dollar bill can carry it. The cringe factor, the stupidity, the complete demonic evil of that statement, that you worship a God that can only go as far as a dollar bill can carry it. And by the way, um, he once preached on the Dagon worshipers having to pick up their own dead god because the Ark of the Covenant supposedly decapitated the statue of Dagon. He once mocked the Dagon worshipers from behind the pulpit. Well, don't you realize that Jesus on the cross is the same thing? That the disciples had to pick up the dead God Jesus and put him in a tomb. So, once again, something's wrong with you. All right? Something's wrong with that story. Because even if Jesus was the Son of God, which is questionable, but even if Jesus was the Son of God, why do you believe that He's the incarnation of God and, in fact, the Son of God at the same time? He can't be Himself and His own Father at the same time. That's a logical paradox. Because in because believe me, if we want to quote what the law says that God is not a man nor the Son of Man. So your daddy, Jimmy Swaggart, regularly says that Jesus was 100% God and 100% man at the same time. That's 200%. That's a lie. There's no such thing as one thing being 200% something. being composed of 200% of anything, because compositions above 100% don't even make rational sense. So, you know, you can call me a blasphemer, you can call me whatever you want to call me, but at least I'm not a false prophet prophesying for money. I've never asked anybody for money to teach them anything other than for the ink on the paper. It's the only thing I one time asked somebody for money for, which I didn't get any offers, but that is the only time I have ever asked somebody for money, was just a little help paying for an ink cartridge to write a paper to them. Ever. So your notion of whatever you think you're worshiping when you talk about God or Jesus or whatever it is you think you're worshiping is a complete lie. You don't worship God. You said so yourself that God can't do anything without a dollar. So you must be worshiping the almighty dollar. And I can't believe I fell for this crap again. But you've got however many thousand people in your congregation, and, you know, millions or tens of millions of supporters around the world, however many people still listen to you, and you're no better than the other fakes. No better. And in fact, you're worse because you know it's wrong, whereas they might not know it's wrong, but you definitely know it's wrong. And you still do the exact same damn